Hi, my dear friends. This is your favorite Slavic friend, and today I have a good one for you. I'm talking to all of those women, ladies, that feel that they're meant for something. They're missing something big from their life, and they're not sure what it is, or when is it gonna come, or what to do to get it quicker. And you're just in a state of confusion. You always have knew, as the young girl, you always had that deep knowing, you know what I mean, like it was just the truth of your being, that you came to this life, you came to this family to experience life in your own way, to be the happy, fulfilled woman, to be wealthy, rich, to travel, to have a loving family, anything that it was for you. And somehow along the way, you lost that. You lost the knowing of what it is. How does it looking like? Where is the path? You start becoming confused. And I'm here today not to be all perfect and tell you, oh, this is step by step, but somehow in making imperfect moves and constantly moving towards my desires, towards the things I want, even though some people and my family, friends don't think that that should be the thing that young woman would like or want or desire. I still move towards them, and constantly moving is somehow creating my dream life. So hopefully today you'll come one step closer, you have better understanding of what that thing is for you. As I keep learning all about psychology, as I keep learning about human emotions, human experience, brain, after investing tens of thousands of euros, dollars, whatever currency you live in, I just see much more clearly now, and learning from those women who have everything I wanted. They have happy families, they have riches, they have wealth, generational wealth for their descendants. I can see clearly, listening to the successful men and women, what it is. They move first. Confidence is not something that you first have and you move. Confidence comes after moving towards your desires, towards your goals, towards your aspirations, and then afterward. So you first move, and then after you become confident, you become more clear of your path, and after all of that, money comes. This is the process of manifestation. And I am not the biggest manifestation teacher. I'm still figuring it out. But this is what helped me move the needle of being totally confused, knowing and frustrated, knowing that something is missing, but not knowing. Like, I just wanted somebody, my psychotherapist, my ex-mentor, my friends, my ex-boyfriend, to tell me what is the next step. Nobody can tell you this. This only depends on you, on what moves you, and what directions your soul is trying to get from this life. Now I'm gonna tell you a little story. This is one of my favorite stories of my big travel trip to Asia. That was my big desire. That was my big breakthrough. And to somebody else, it didn't make sense. Most of the people didn't make sense. They thought I'm just going on my holiday. But year after now, I clearly see that this is the open gate. Now, I had more little things that I did, little experiences that I allowed myself to experience before going to Asia. I went on my first solo trip as a woman, and I had this desire for years. I wanted to go to Asia, and nobody wanted to, like, I had no one to go with me. Trust me, I asked. So I finally decided I'm gonna go by myself. I have experience in organizing trips for my family and myself, so it's like, I can't do this. And the biggest thing in creating your dream life, following your desires, becoming more certain, is if you do not act on your desires, on your wishes at that moment, now, your brain, your mental plane is going to catch up, and you'll have those little conversations inside of your head that are trying just to protect you, aka fear. Fear will show up and you will spiral. You may postpone the planning the trip. You may even, if you have years of doing this to yourself, you may like find excuses why not to do it instead of just doing it. So I was struggling with myself for, I think, at least year or 2 years. Do I want to go to a trip? But it's dangerous. This thing and that thing, and what country should I go in? And I finally decided it's gonna be Vietnam and Philippines. So I started planning the trip. I made a decision, and then I asked for days off. They got approved. And then I told my mother, abroad by myself to a new continent, the furthest ever been away from home. She became more confident, and as time approached to my trip, my father became more uncertain. And I was just, because I decided back then, there's a few changes to my trip. I decided just to go to Philippines afterwards when I got time off approved. There was nobody that could stop me from doing it. So I started planning my trip. And somehow, I do have that line of perfectionism. In the last few years, it's very, very thin line. Before, it was very big. I was perfectionist. I got it from my mom. Proud or not, I believe all women have it. All young women have it. Somehow, I think it was my father started panicking, and my brother also started panicking and rigging me 2 weeks before I went on my trip. And I didn't manage to plan last 3 days of 15 days abroad in Philippines, which is totally unusual for me. So I went on the trip. I just didn't want to get into the fear mindset because I knew myself. I was like, don't let those people close to you that love you, that want to protect you, activate a fear, because then I would not even enjoy a trip. God knows, like, if fear was activated, if I would still go on that trip. So I sat on the plane, and I knew that the last 3 days I don't have it planned, and I planned to go to capital Manila, and I let it be. I had so much more awareness than a year ago to know my brain, to know myself. This is why it's so important for women to know our brains, to know human brain, human emotions, and to know how to work through it. I learned it from a successful woman, as I said, from my mentors. I paid to get that knowledge. I spent the time and money and effort and tears to get that knowledge of emotional intelligence. And I leave the link down below of my mentors, the best course that's only like $333. This knowledge should be taught at school. If you ever become a mother, this is gonna save your life. This is gonna help you regulate your household if you know how to regulate yourself. So I was regulating myself, and the first 6 days of my trip, I did not still know what was gonna happen on the day 13th, 14th, and 15th. So I've been talking to some people, to some locals, to some other travelers, and I came to knowledge that Manila is not the best place for me to stay last 3 days. So I was like, where will I go? I knew that I trusted myself. I know that I have enough resources, I have enough skills to book something last minute, and enough money. So I wasn't really bothered, and I was on a holiday. I was enjoying it. Every day was so magical. It literally was like a whole new world. I grew up in Europe, and the nature, the animals, the ocean, all the different islands, it was just so magical. And I met so many new people, and I went out of my comfort zone so much before that trip. I was more introverted, but after that trip I just socialized with so many people, made so many new friends. And on day 6, I met with one of my new friends, a new bestie. You know, when you sometimes just click with people. I met with her again. We went out. We met another 2 more girlfriends from Philippines that lived in Manila, and I decided she actually put an idea in my head. Oh, at that time, she's gonna visit an island beside my one. So the way I organized my trip, I was gonna visit 3 islands. On the first island, I met her. Then I went day 7 on the second island, and I didn't have plan for island 3. So she said, why don't you meet me at that island 3, because it's so close to your second island. Philippines, it's a country, literally, they have thousands and thousands of islands. That was the whole country of it. So it's like, that's a good idea. I was like, let me think about it. And I already knew at that moment, yes, we're gonna go to that island. I never heard before. I never researched it. I researched all of the islands I was supposed to visit 3 months in advance. Like, I watched every YouTube video. I knew like how to get from point A to point B, but this island I did not know nothing about. So I was like, let's do it. So I went day 7. Next day I separated with her and I went on a second island. I enjoyed the most out of it. I still didn't know how I'm gonna get to island 3. And on my last few days, I knew I was gonna meet my friend. So I already made the decision. I still didn't know how I was gonna get there. I knew it was close enough. So I was keep enjoying my trips, my plans I already made. And I think it was like 2 days before I was supposed to take off to island 2 to meet my friend. I didn't know how. So at the place I stayed with, there is one Vietnamese girl. She's traveling, she's local to that area of Earth, planet Earth, and she recommended the route to the place I need to go. So literally 2 days before my last trip to my last island, I refunded my plane ticket to Manila and I booked a new route to that island. It was the best day of my life. That last 5 days, it's literally made my trip. I made it. Somehow I made it to the island. It's not just a different island. I had to take a random bus, 3-hour bus to get to that place that she was staying at. And we had the most amazing 3 days together, and I made the friends for life. Not only with her, I met some French people, some people from UK, and we had the best time of our life. Now that I look back, of course I made it safely to the international airport in Manila and back to Dublin. Now that I look back, that trip gave me so much more confidence, so much more trust in myself. I already had trust in myself. That's why I was able to not have planned for the last 3 days and still figure it out. So much more trust in myself, so much more trust in God. Just the trust in the universe, that sometimes not having plans, sometimes just having a next step, knowing your next move for the next day, it's just enough. And since then, that trip, for some reason I had to go to Philippines. Truth is, I wanted to go to Vietnam, but so many people were talking about Philippines that I actually went to Philippines. I saw the totally new world, new side of this beautiful planet Earth. Not just visually, I learned how other people live. Some of the Europeans, most of the Europeans I met live, how would you say that life? When they travel, move from one place to another. I was shocked. It was like totally different world. And the country, the culture I come from, Serbia, I've been living in Ireland the past 5 years. Not many. I don't know any person that travel, especially women by yourself, abroad, especially not to a totally new continent, thousands and thousands of miles away. Not one. And I know why my parents were so scared, but my soul knew that it has to be done. I had to go to a trip to Asia. I didn't know why. I had a huge desire. I love to travel. That's why I did it. But now looking back, this made me moving towards my goals after 2 years of postponing the trip. Finally saying yes, planning step by step, and then not being able to plan the last 3 days. And then learning how to live life day by day, not overthinking about the future, not overthinking about the past, what people back home will say, what fears my parents have, made me a totally new, different person. And some people would say, oh, you wasted your money traveling last year to 6 new countries, and people my age get houses, get married, but you have to understand, every life path is different for every human on this planet. And if you have that feeling, that frustration inside of you that something is missing, you're meant to do something big, but you don't know what. I didn't know what. 3 years ago when I broke off with my ex, I had huge unsatisfaction that I was living somebody else's life. And I went to the whole self-discovery and saying yes to the things, and going to that trip, totally changing my perspective on everything and anything. I actually flew, when I went back, I upgraded. That trip was so life-changing. I did so many new things, met so many new people, went out of my comfort zone almost every day, every second day, that I booked in on my way back what was it? It's not business class, first class with Qatar Airways. That was mind-blowing to me. We had like a 3-course meal, and I literally had like a bed, and they gave me pajamas and blankets and anything, champagne or anything. Doing things. You don't need to know why you want to do certain things. Just by doing them, just by saying yes, one day, in a year or 2 or 5, you will realize that that was the right step. You're being having clarity, and then creating the dream life. The big thing you have to realize, I realized last year, the biggest thing that will ever stop you from going after things you really want to do, even though you don't know why you want to do them, nobody around you knows why we want to do it. Fear of failure. This is how wealthy, rich people think. This is what I learned from my mentor, the one I was mentioning before. She manifested everything she ever wanted inside of her life, and I am on that path of doing that too. And what I learned from her is that failure is the only human-made concept. It does not exist. It does exist because you believe in it, but it doesn't have to exist in your life. The truth is, if you always move towards the things you want to do, yes, you may make some mistakes on the road, as I didn't know where I was going the last 3 days. I thought I made a decision in my brain that I was going to Manila, the capital of Philippines, but I just couldn't book it. So as I was going through my trip, meeting new people, meeting more locals, meeting more people who live there in the capital, I was open enough to realize, to be true to myself and realize that doesn't seem like fun, going to that capital. I want to have different experiences. I don't want to sit in a traffic for half an hour. I don't want to feel unsafe walking down the streets. I don't want to inhale all of that contaminated air. I would rather be somewhere on the beach. So I was true enough to myself, and I already booked a plane ticket from my second destinations to Manila capital, and I was willing to just say to myself, I was wrong. I actually don't want to do that. I am gonna ask for a refund for my plane ticket, and in Europe we have very good laws about refunds, but I was aware that maybe in Asia it's different. So it was, I only got, I believe, like 40% of my price that I paid, but that was fine with me. I was fine with making one mistake on the trip and make another 100 good ones. And it's just the way you see failure. I managed to reprogram my brain last year that failure does not exist. If you keep moving into direction that you feel like it's the right one, you want to go, even making a mistake that you later realize, oh, I actually don't want this. This is not for me. This maybe client is not for me, or this school is not for me, or this environment is not for me, or this man that I'm dating is not for me. You can always reverse. You can always go the other direction. And this is how successful people keep on the path. They understand that, yes, this is their path, if they're going up, and suddenly they make one decisions that at the moment they don't know, but they start going down, they'll hit something on the road and realize, oh, actually I'm not going up, I'm going down now, and just redirect themselves upwards. It is all about perception. You cannot fail. There is no such thing as failing if you not decided. If you decide you fail, if you decide that you're a failure, that's your internal belief, then you're gonna see the world that way. But if you decide that, yes, I will probably make 100 mistakes, but I'll make 1,000 good ones in the future, it is worth it. That's why all the successful people, Thomas Edison, how many times he tried to make the light bulb, and how many failed times? Thousands. And then he just needed one good one. He just needed all of those tries that didn't went well, thousands of them, and he finally found the light bulb. And if you try to research of all of the great sportsmen, entrepreneurs, scientists of our times and past times, you will realize very quickly that they all have the one thing in common. They are just committed to the thing that they believe in no matter what mistake they do. They never give up, and eventually they make it. Every single one of them. Steve Jobs is the same. So it's all about the perspective. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is effect after movement. Keep moving. And to close off this video, I have 3 little kind of how would you call it? Road signs for you. So first, when you maybe even have the desire, something you want to do now as you're listening to me, you have to decide now that you get to do this. As I said, confidence comes after movement. Movement comes first. Confidence comes after movement, and money comes after confident people. Certain confident people. Now you're confused. Your first step is to find the thing you want to do, find the desire, and commit to it. And no matter what, do it. This is how you build your muscle and confidence. I have a great video of what was it called? The most important thing confident women know about energy. I'm gonna link it after this video. You just decide in this moment what it is you want to do. You can write it on a piece of paper. You decide and you do it. And that is the first step of you actually doing it. Saying yes. You have to say it yes outside of yourself. Or say it, you're gonna do something to your mother, to your friend, somebody who can hold you accountable. To your coworker, you can just go off now and say, oh, I'm planning a trip to Vietnam. And if they say, oh, when? You're like, I'm gonna keep you posted. I'm not sure, but I'm going to Vietnam this year. That's it. You send that request form for your holidays, it gets approved, and then you start planning it. So the first thing is decide fast, reflect slow. And remember, even if for some reason one of your decisions is not leading you to the path you wanted to, you feel like it's wrong, it's a little mistake, you can always redirect yourself, but you will never know if you're on the right path if you're not on any path. That was the first thing. The second thing, redefine in your brain what is failure. Failure does not exist in all successful people's brains. So why does it exist in yours if you want to be successful? You know? And then the third thing, protect your energy. Knowing now that after you say yes to things, you'll have those thoughts. We all have those thoughts that wants to protect us. Oh, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if you didn't make a right mistake? You say to it, there's no failures. I'll figure it out. You become the woman who trusts yourself as you're doing things. You have to have the mindset of there's nothing else. It's just when you decide, it's just the one thing you have to do. And you'll figure it out, your way through it. Protecting your energy means knowing that you have those thoughts means that everybody else have those thoughts. And you may be very better than other people in being aware of those thoughts, but some people are not. And probably your family, friends will express those fears to you, and then you'll absorb them. So I highly recommend to watch that video, the most important thing confident women know about energy. It's all explained there. I'm gonna make a new video on, what was it on? It's the step after confusion, committing. So keep an eye up for that, subscribe, and watch most important thing confident women know about the energy. And hopefully you'll be on your path of creating your own dream life in no time. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you soon.